YouTube, what is going on? It's favorite Mr. Misfit FM, and welcome to the very first episode of the Weekly Trip, a series I wanted to start here so that when I'm talking about anything about other animes and mangas outside of Naruto or Boruto, or I can still talk about them here, but anything else I like to talk about, or even TV, current events, everything in between, I have really a name to a face to it rather than just calling it like, let's talk about it, or the roundup. I wanted to give a name that gives a feel to your favorite station on YouTube, and the Weekly Trip was kind of the first thing that came to my mind. So going forward, obviously you'll still have your prediction videos for Boruto, chapter reviews for Boruto, all that stuff in between, but I also just want to put a name to the face of a series what I do when I'm not doing a podcast, when I'm not doing no stuff, I'm just talking about my opinions on certain little things. You'll be presented with the Weekly Trip. So hope you enjoy it. And as always, before we hop into it, make sure you like, subscribe, do everything you can to support your favorite misfit. Link in the description. Check me out on other socials such as TikTok and Instagram, where yes, we'll be doing daily uploads as always. So make sure you check out the content. And as always, anything you do was greatly appreciated. As a quick reminder, if you missed my last video earlier this week, I'm starting a podcast. So starting in March, yes, we're starting this next month, I will be dropping weekly episodes here on YouTube, Misfit FM, and also having clips available here as well on YouTube, as well as Instagram and potentially TikTok. Still thinking about that, but might end up happening anyway. But yes, the Trouble Moon Station podcast is going to be presented to you, and I'm so looking forward to making that with some friends, family, maybe even some of you guys too. So looking forward to doing that stuff. Check out that video to get all the details of what you can expect from that podcast. Going into the Weekly Trip, let's kind of dive into the world of Dragon Ball Z. And yes, Dragon Ball Z did an event last month to celebrate 40 years of Dragon Ball Z. That is insane to me that it has been around for that long. But you got to think about it. Dragon Ball Z really started way back in the late 1980s, I believe. And that is insane to me to even say that. But it has been one of my favorite animes of growing up as a kid. And I'm so excited to get into the news today. They are finally going to animate the Galactic Patrol arc and the Moro arc, which is very, very good arcs that happen after the events of the Universal Survivor Saga, which is awesome, and I'm looking so forward to seeing how they animate it in this new kind of form that they've been kind of hyping up. One of the key visuals we got was this little graphic up here that pop up on the screen, which is pretty cool, just showing Goku and Vegeta rocking the little insignia for the Galactic Patrol. You can't get too much out of the visuals outside of just seeing maybe this is the kind of the animation direction, which it is. Looks pretty dope. I'm just looking forward to seeing how they show a lot of the iconic moments from those arcs. Obviously, seeing Goku get his mastered Ultra Instinct, Vegeta getting his new form, and then for seeing Frieza, see how he pulls up with that new black Frieza form. It's so much stuff that I could talk about that I'm looking forward to, but I'm just overall excited for it, you know. As someone who grew up on Dragon Ball, again, my very first episode, I always tell this story to all you guys that I've watched of Dragon Ball Z was the Frieza saga. Goku had just turned Super Saiyan for the very first time, and he's about to cook Frieza, or start pretty much the epic battle between him and Frieza on planet Namek, which is insane to me. Because then, you know, I kind of watched Dragon Ball Z in reverse. I started with Z, and then I went back to Dragon Ball, and then I went to GT, and then Kai happened, and then Super. And it's a very unique approach I had to Dragon Ball Z, but it is an anime that I enjoyed and I love, and it's so happy to have it back. You know, 2018 vibes are back, as I always like to say in this particular example, but like, it's so great to have Super back. Some other news we got as well is that they're going to do a TV anime remake of the Beerus arc, which is really cool to hear. Now, again, when it comes to anime remakes, I made a post about this on Mr. Sasuke, and I'll kind of talk more about it today. I'm not the biggest fan of anime remakes because a lot of times remakes just feel like a money grab to me. I know when you hear them a lot in like TV shows and stuff like that about, you know, reboots and stuff like that, you get really like, I don't know how to feel about them. Not all shows need a reboot. Not every show or even movie need a reboot or remakes. So I'm always kind of iffy on them stuff because, again, it just feels like a money grab to me. But with this, I'm still hoping, you know, holding my super crazy opinions to myself. I think overall, I'm just looking forward to seeing with this new visual, this new perspective, and kind of how they've been talking about trying to reimagine this arc and bring Toriyama's vision of what he really had for this arc to life in this new animation. I'm just really curious on like what they kind of bring to the fold. So I got no negative thing to say about it. I'm just looking forward to it, and I'm just excited as a fan of Dragon Ball Z, Super, Kai, GT, all that fun jazz, just to see what they do with it. So looking forward to that for sure. I did see some people like hating on the decision making for the remake of that arc, and because I think that a lot of them just like, oh man, so many episodes, yada yada yada. Like, dude, like at the end of the day, it's like Dragon Ball Z, when you really look at it, and especially in like the last 10 years, has been a product of just remaking iconic moments and showing it in a new light. Like, that's the whole point of freaking Kai. Was it gave us some new visuals, some new visuals, not a lot, but some new visuals of iconic moments from when we grew up. They gave us some new, obviously, voice acting lines, Japanese and English, of some of those iconic moments as well, that we could argue sounds way better than what the original one was. But, I know some people are stuck in nostalgia and like those moments better than the ones that got updated. But it's like Dragon Ball Z has always been in a loop of like constant either remakes or reboots. So it's one or the other we're getting from here. Like even in Daima, we just got Super Saiyan 4, and that is a different version than what the one we saw in GT. Like, look at them. Like here's Daima and here's GT. Two different kind of concepts, but they're both badass. So I'm not gonna hate on that. And again, I watched Daima, by the way. Great anime. I finally got around to watching it. I know it took me a while, but like it looked freaking sick. Loved watching it, and I think it was a cool take on kind of seeing that Demon World arc in OL. People are gonna hate regardless. That's just the product of this anime community nowadays. People just like to use rage bait content and just kind of hate just to get those views and likes and impressions. I could care less about hating on something unless it genuinely needs to have some type of like, hey, pushback to it. And when it comes to this news, I'm just super excited that we, as a fan, being patient this long. Because again, I was under the impression we weren't gonna get anything at all. I just thought they was gonna like ride the wave of Daima and go from there. But if we're gonna get back Super, we're getting back all this stuff, I'm more than also just, my next part of it would be, hey, what are we gonna do about the manga? Which I don't know what is the right answer to that. Again, shout out to Tori Toriyama, rest in peace to him. He's gone, and do you continue the series without him? Like, I genuinely like pose that question to you guys, so let me know in the comment section what you believe about that. I personally would just be okay with them ending it, but it's like there's so much story you can tell, but it's not being told by the man who created the vision. There's plenty of other people that he's entrusted over the years to tell his story and all this vision of how he wants to create anime and draw stuff. But it's like, that's the OG. Atori is one of those guys, man. Like, when you think of one of the OGs of the manga universe, he's one of them. And not having him tell his own story and, his predecessors picking up his shoes, I'm a little iffy on that, because then people are going to get butthurt when it's like, oh, Atori wouldn't do this, or like, this is how Atori wouldn't write this. Like, again, you don't know how he would write it because he's not here, unfortunately, anymore. But I'm just curious, like, do we want to continue the manga? Do we not? Like, I just, I feel very weird about it. If they do it, I'll still read, but like, I just don't know how I would feel going forward, because it's not going to be him. It's not going to be, I don't know if he left like kind of the ending of how he wanted to end Dragon Ball Z before he's passed away, anything like that. But it's not going to be in a way that I think all of us would have appreciated it. But at the end of the day, that decision comes down to kind of the company and how they want to do it, because they own that rights to the series, and there's a lot of kind of push around when it comes to that the unique company of Toei Animation. But we'll see what happens with the Dragon Ball Z manga, Super specifically in that case. But I'm just overall excited with the anime, man. The anime is kind of the main thing, the topic of this video, and I'm just here for it. I'm excited and would love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. So let me know down in the comment section whether you like it, you hate the news. There's other news as well about some updates to the games they have out there, like your Dokkan battles you play on your phone, or I forget the other one is on the phone as well, but I think there are updates to that as well, because they're doing anniversaries on those phone app games for the prospective anniversary years. I think they're on year 11 for Dokkan Battle, and someone quote me on that if I'm off on that. But there's a lot of updates for their games, so check out any of their games, either console or mobile, if you are a fan of those. It's some cool things they dropped as well for they celebrate 40 years of Dragon Ball Z. Thank you guys so much for tuning into your favorite station on YouTube. As always, greatly appreciated. As always, link in the description. Check me out on other socials. The podcast is dropping next month, date to be determined. And as always, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you guys here next time.